I want to show you the testimony of three witnesses in the Soto Escalera trial, specifically the person who found the body and the deputy who was called to the scene and who sponsored some photographs into evidence, and also a random gentleman who happened to be going down the road where the body was dumped at the time the body was dumped. Here's what we're talking about today. One of the things I often admire about prosecutors who are really good at their job is that they don't waste the jury's time. All too often, you get a prosecutor up there and he wants to, you know, play big time lawyer or something. And it's like, and he asks the question things like, well, what's your name? Where do you live? And what do you do? What's your job? And how many kids do you have? Where do they go to school? What part of town are you familiar with? So then they finally get to the actual parts of the questioning that actually matters. You'll notice here that, particularly with this first witness, we get straight to the point.
Do you swear or affirm that evidence you're about to give will be the truth and whole truth and nothing? I do. Thank you.
Get better for the state of the witness. And you may inquire of the witness. Morning.
Morning.
Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Christine Gavin, Gavan,
Okay, Ms. Gavin, have you lived here in Fort Pierce all your life?
since I was 7 years old.
And let me take you back to August 24th of 2018. Do you remember what you were doing that day?
I left my house and in Spanish Lakes Fairways, went to Johnston Road and was going to take a shortcut to my granddaughter's and went down Russo Road.
Okay. And you go down, and where did your granddaughter live?
She lives over all the other side of Emil Avenue.
Okay. And you left your home and you were going to your granddaughter's house.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you took a shortcut and you got on Russo's Road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And describe in as much detail as possible what happened and what you saw on August 24th of 2018.
Started down Russo and I was looking out my windows and there was like somebody had thrown bags of trash out the window. And so I got to the end of the road where Rusacas crosses and I stopped and I thought, oh, wait a minute, that's not what I saw. And I stopped and got my bearings again. And I thought, I think that was something more than just a bag laying there. So I turned around and I went back and saw that it was a body laying there. So I stopped and called 911.
Okay. And do you remember what time you called 911?
About 10:50.
Okay. And how do you remember that time?
I was very shocked, very upset. So I just sat there and waited for him to arrive.
Okay. And when you called 911, did you take a look at the timestamp on your phone?
Yes, I think it was like 10:54, something like that.
Okay. And the police officers arrived?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Without telling us what you said, because that would be inadmissible hearsay. But did you tell the police officer what you saw?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Gateman, thank you very much. I have no further questions.
For cross-examination.
This witness be released from her subpoena.
She may.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you, Ms. Gavin. You're released from your subpoena. That means you're free to stay or leave as you wish. You just step down to the witness.
Now, that wasn't a very long witness, but certainly she laid the groundwork for where the body was found and how it was called to law enforcement's attention. The next witness is the deputy who responded to that call. And when you see this fellow, I think you'll probably think, like I did, that he really looked like perhaps what you would think of as a Boy Scout. He was very short hair, he had glasses, and he wore his uniform very proudly. And he made a very professional appearance in front of the jury. And he answered questions, yes, sir, no, sir, went through the whole thing. I think you'll find that this was a pretty good witness for the prosecution.
Morning, sir.
Can you state your name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Deputy Joshua Gilkey, Gilkey.
And it's obvious based on your dress. What will you do for a living?
Road Patrol Deputy, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Go ahead and give the jury a thumbnail sketch of your education, your training, and your experience, please.
I have an associate's degree in criminal justice. I've attended the basic academy for law enforcement. I'm a traffic homicide investigator, and I've worked for St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office for about 8 years now.
Okay. And were you working back on August 24th of 2018?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In what capacity were you working? What was your assignment?
Road Patrol Deputy.
Okay. And go ahead and just give the jury a brief summary of what a road patrol deputy does on a day-to-day basis.
Road Patrol Deputy typically responds to calls for service. So you call 911, and if it's within that area that I'm working, I will respond to that call. I also do routine traffic stops as well.
Okay. And on August 24th of 2018, first of all, were you on duty?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And describe for the jury how you were dressed.
We had a different uniform back then. It was like the other deputies in this room, polyester uniform. So I was dressed in that uniform.
Okay. And were you in a marked unit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you receive a call or to respond to the area of Russo's Road and Johnston Road in St. Lucie County?
I heard my zone partner, he got dispatched to the call. I just happened to be a little bit closer, so I arrived on scene first.
Okay. About how far, just give the jury an idea, about how far away is that area from Injury Road?
So it's approximately about a mile and a half.
Okay. And so you get dispatched and walk the jury in as much detail as possible what you see. You are the eyes to this jury, so walk them through what you see.
So whenever I first arrived on scene, I saw the caller in a black car, made contact with her. I believe her name was Christine Gavin. And she informed me that she had saw what could possibly be a deceased body down the road approximately 50 feet away from us to the east on the south side of the roadway.
Okay. And did you approach that body?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the jury what you saw.
I saw what appeared to be a female body, and she appeared to be deceased at that time.
Okay. And what did you do in response?
I immediately determined that this was going to be an active crime scene due to there being a deceased female on the side of the roadway. Rescue was there with me as well. Nobody went up and touched the body or anything like that.
Did you touch the body?
No, sir.
Okay. I want to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibits 116 and 117 for identification purposes. Take a look at those and tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are those photos? What do they depict?
Those are photos of the deceased female laying face down.
Okay. And are those photos of the deceased female as they appeared on August 24th of 2018?
Yes.
Okay. And what time did you arrive on scene?
I believe it was approximately 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Okay. And are these photos fair and accurate representations of how the deceased female looked on August 24th of 2018?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, the state moves into evidence Exhibits 116 and 117.
Objection.
These two items will come into evidence without objection at this time. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me remind you of something I told you on Thursday, since it's been 3 days in between. The items that officially come into evidence by my pronouncement take on a different significance to the actual evidence in the case. They will go back with you into the jury room during deliberations. There may be other items that are used during the trial that do not officially come into evidence, such as items used to refresh a witness's memory or a demonstrative aid here in court. That's not the actual evidence, will not go back with you into the jury room. Also, now that an item is officially in evidence, it may be shown to you or published to you by either of the attorneys. And you may proceed, Mr. Richardson.
And permission to publish them.
You may do so.
Okay. So as we're looking here at Exhibit 116, go ahead and describe for the jury and also for the record what we're looking at.
That is what I saw whenever I first arrived on scene. Made contact with the body.
Okay. And exhibit 117,
Another angle.
same body.
Yes, sir.
And both of these depict the victim on August 24th of 2018.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And from that point forward, you're a road deputy, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then did you then notify detectives within the homicide division of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office?
I notified my supervisor, and supervisor makes the notifications from that.
Okay, so from that point forward, this was not your case, more homicide detectives came in and they began their investigation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deputy Gilkey. I have no further questions for you.
Of course, his testimony did not get to stand unrebutted.
Just very briefly, sir, that area that you found the body in, that wasn't a wooded area, correct?
It's partially wooded. Just depends on where, but I did.
Do you remember taking a deposition on this case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember stating in the deposition when you asked if the area was wooded, you said, I wouldn't describe it as wooded?
Right.
Further questions?
Any further questions from the state?
No regret.
Okay, Deputy Gilkey, be released from the subpoena.
Yes, sir.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you, Deputy.
But the actual impeachment of this witness was not as good as I would have liked to have seen. She impeaches him on whether or not it was a wooded area. Now, maybe that has something to do with it later on, but you can see in some of the pictures when he's showing the pictures that it clearly was an area where there was shrubbery or brush. And so, maybe it was wooded. I don't know. But it's interesting, again, to see this sort of one question hit on his credibility with regard to whether it was a wooded area or not. After this, we get a witness who was in the area where the killing took place on the night when the killing took place and drove through that area. And he gets to tell us a little bit about how he came to suspect something wasn't quite right with a truck that he saw.
You swear affirm that evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
If you could, please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
William Drew Mullen III, Mullan.
And what do you do for a living?
Self-employed.
All right. Back in 2018, did you own a business?
Yes.
Okay. And what business did you own?
There's a pizza restaurant in Vero Beach.
Okay. And during that time, would you ever have to travel along Russo Road in St. Lucie County?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you travel along that road?
It was just a cut through from my house to get to Vero. So like a back road, stay away from traffic, that kind of stuff.
So what I want to do is I want to go back to August 23rd of 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Okay. Was there something that occurred that led you to reach out to law enforcement?
Yes. That was the, are you talking about this is the day, during the day, right?
Or during the nighttime?
During the nighttime.
There's something
yes.
that you saw that on an evening along Russo Road?
Yes.
Okay.
What is
it that you saw as you were, well, first off, were you driving at night on August 23rd?
Yeah, at night. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And where were you going?
I was going back home from the pizza place. So I was pulling onto Russo Road, and usually there's nobody on that road at that time of night, and just so happened to be a truck sitting there. So.
All right. Now, before I ask you some questions about the truck, approximately what time of night is this?
This was between 11 and 11:30.
And if you could describe for the jury, you're turning down Russo Road.
Yes.
Describe for them what you see. If there is a vehicle, describe the vehicle. What do you see it doing?
Yeah. So as soon as I turned on the road, it was dark, and then all of a sudden, lights popped on. So it was probably about 150 yards down the road. So I thought that was very suspicious. So I started coming towards the vehicle, and that vehicle started coming towards me. I noticed it was a truck, and it was kind of creeping towards me. It was a silver or gray truck, like a big truck, like a full-size truck, and was like a clean truck. I noticed it had like shiny, like kind of chrome, like rims and, pieces on the truck and whatnot. And then I just passed by the truck. So dark
Did-
tint windows.
And you described something happening with the lights when you saw the truck?
Yeah, as soon as I pulled on the road, it was like the fog lights had popped on right away. So which I thought was suspicious because instead of turning on all your lights, it was like fog lights. I feel like a lower light, so.
And that's my next question. So you described it as fog lights. Where would those lights be on the truck that you saw?
More down towards the bottom. So that's why I thought was suspicious. It wasn't like your normal headlight that popped on. It was like a light two lights that were on the bottom. So.
And as you approached the truck, what did it do?
Immediately started, I could tell it just started like kind of creeping towards me. So as I was going east from Johnson Road, it started coming west towards Johnson Road.
And then where did that truck end up going?
Since it was kind of weird, I was watching it in my rearview mirror. It stopped at the stop sign, and then it took a right, which would be north on Johnson Road.
And did you do anything in response at this time?
No, I mean, I just kept going and went home that night, like normal. So.
So you didn't contact law enforcement?
Not that.
What caused you to end up to reaching out to law enforcement?
Well, this was my everyday route. So the next day when I was coming down that road, I noticed they had it blocked off. And I was coming west towards. I was on 27th Ave. I'm from Vero, so I call it 27th Ave. So then I went down to Indrio, went down, then. Went west, got on Johnson Road, started going towards Vero, and then when I came up on Russo Road, I noticed that there was police officers parked there, and I had saw a tent set up right where I saw that truck. So I figured maybe I should stop and at least tell them what I saw the night before in case it had something to do with it. So.
And is that what you ended up doing?
Yes, I immediately pulled over on the side of the road and spoke with the detective.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. I don't have any other questions.
Cross-examination.
No cross-section.
As you can see from this Google Earth studio view of the area in near Russo Road and Johnston Road, which is where the body was found, you can see how remote and isolated and rural it is, and the fact that it is at least partially wooded. And the deputy may not have described it that way, but I think it is partially wooded. The interesting thing about this is you wouldn't expect, if you were somebody who was planning on doing something and dumping something there, you would not expect in the middle of the night for someone to be traveling on that road because it's literally just a little path between somewhere and nowhere. So you can certainly understand why it is that the defendant, if indeed he did commit this crime, chose that as an area to dispose of the body. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here today. If you have the opportunity today, try to do one kind thing to help somebody else. Any kind thing will do. Buy somebody a Coke, get them a cup of coffee. Anything that makes their day better. That would be a way to help make the world a better place. Because after all, isn't that what we're all after? Now, YouTube has a few things that they think you might be interested in, and they're going to be showing you that right up there.